All right, welcome everyone to the next presentation. Taylor D. Lewis is here. She is a WordPress expert and website strategist. She helps entrepreneurs design their websites and bring their ideas and unique personalities to digital life, which we absolutely love. Taylor helps entrepreneurs design their websites, and I just said that. She creates simple, affordable, and easy to customize WordPress templates for your emerging empire. So after years as a boutique custom web designer and strategist, Taylor realized that most early stage businesses can get all they need from a template at a fraction of the cost. So she builds the templates that she wishes existed when she started her first business. And I love that. Welcome, Taylor.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here and cannot wait to dive into how to launch a website that actually works for everyone. So super excited to
Yay.
be here.
Yeah, take it away. We can't wait to find out all your tips and tricks.
Yay. So this is me. Hi, hello. I am Taylor D. Lewis. I am your website BFF who's not afraid to tell it like it is. Consider this the swift kick in the pants you need to check the website off of your to-do list without sacrificing style or strategy. As a solopreneur, I know how precious your time is between kidnaps, Zoom meetings, and target runs. It can be difficult to send an email, let alone design and launch an entire website. But I also know that a professional website is critical to your business's long-term success. So we'll go over today some 5 key elements when you are creating your website. So some fun facts about me. Octopus are my favorite creatures. Hiking is my favorite hobby. I've used WordPress and Elementor for over 6 years. And when it comes to Monopoly, I definitely dominate the board. So WordPress is my favorite content management system, and anything you can dream of can be built using WordPress. WordPress is what a lot of people use for when building a website. During this presentation, you will learn the most or must-haves to launching your website. You'll leave here with some actionable steps to take. I like to start off all of my website presentations with an analogy about WordPress websites. So building a website is like building your cyber home. You have the hosting, which is the land of your home. You have the domain, which is the address that people can enter into Google Maps. That way they can find you on the internet. Then you have WordPress, which is the foundation of your home. Then you have the theme, which is like the structure and the walls. This can also be like the layout of your home. It's not the design of the house. It's more of just the layout. Then we have the plugins, which are like the appliances and the fridge, the dishwasher, and dryer. They are not built with the actual home. You add them in later to get additional functionality, which is why I like to think of them as more of like appliances. Then you have the page builders, which these are like interior design. So it's like the paint, the curtain, the pictures. Makes your home super homey, and people want to stay in your house because of the decoration that you have, and page builders are the same exact way. So this is the 5-step framework we'll go over today briefly. So the first step will be to choose the purpose. Then we'll go over choosing your website platform, then hosting and domain names, what content you should be doing, and then the design process. So step 1 is that you don't want to design or have a website just to have one. There should always be goals in mind, whether that is showing up as an expert, building brand awareness, maybe generating some new leads or generating sales. You can have multiple goals for one website. As you create your website pages, your headers and footers, you'll want to keep the end goal in mind for the overarching website and each individual page. An example of this might be you have a website, and the overarching goal of the website is to generate more sales. However, maybe you need to do that by creating a page that generates leads. And so you'll have your overarching goal, and then your pages on your website will help you to reach that overarching goal. Then one of the most important things is if you don't have a target audience in mind, your website surely will not produce results. You want to make sure to find out who your target audience is and have them in mind as you are creating your website. This will also help you dictate the purpose of your website better. And the target audience, the website shouldn't necessarily be for you. It's for your target audience. So you'll always want to make sure to lump this in with your step one. Target audience should be locked down, and then you can start thinking about your purpose based off your audience. So here are some of the purposes I discussed. So you have increasing sales, generating more leads. You can even improve communications with your current and potential customers, or you can automate multiple tasks in your business. It all depends on what you need for your particular business. Step two is once you have selected your website purpose, you can now choose the website platform that is best for your short and long-term goals. Now, obviously, WordPress is going to be my recommendation when it comes to website platforms, and it is the only platform I personally work with. However, there is Squarespace as well. So I've kind of put together a little bit of the pros of both. So WordPress is a content management system, and it is one of the most customizable options out there. It is also free, which is phenomenal. There's no monthly fees to use WordPress.org. Most websites on the internet are using WordPress, so finding assistance for your website is super easy. You own all your content and don't lose access just because you didn't make a payment. And WordPress has fantastic designed templates built for it to get you started quickly. Biggest con with WordPress is the learning curve. There is a steeper learning curve than most other platforms, and that is because of the fact it is so customizable and you can literally make it do almost anything. So the big drawback is the learning curve. Then we have Squarespace, which is another amazing option. So Squarespace is a website builder and is very simple to use due to the lack of features and choices it provides. Squarespace does have a monthly cost from $12 to $54, depending on the plan that you choose. And you also get a price break if you do a year or an annually plan. Squarespace offers hassle-free website setup. It also provides a polished user experience. So if you have a very, very, very simple need for a website and you don't plan to add in courses and memberships and have all these different offerings, Squarespace is a great option for people. However, WordPress is still always going to be my number one recommendation because of its cost and its flexibility and the fact that there are so many people out there that can help you manage your website, and a lot of support documentations exist because it is one of the oldest platforms around. Then we have step three. So this is choosing your domain names and getting hosting situated. So if you decide to go with WordPress, then you'll want to then decide your hosting. So you have Bluehost and GoDaddy are the two main recommendations. Number one recommendation is just to go with one. It's not too difficult to migrate from one to another. So it would really just be best to just start getting your website ready instead of kind of focusing on, oh, well, which one should I choose? They're both pretty much the same. Bluehost is way less expensive, has a better chat feature that allows you to talk to anyone at any point in time. It's easy for you to upgrade and downgrade. So I choose Bluehost, and it's $2.95 a month when you're on your basic plan. And then as your business grows, you need more resources, you can easily upgrade to faster speeds and more storage. For your domain name, you want to make sure to use the .com extension. Even though people are becoming more aware of other extensions like .life or .net, I still truly believe that .com is the most recognized extension. Usually the domain will be the name of your business or yourself. It just depends on what you have chosen for your domain name. So here's just a review of the step 3. So Bluehost and GoDaddy are both amazing. You'll want to get your domain name from your hosting provider. This helps you save a step of having to connect the two. And you usually, wherever you get hosting, they also offer domain names as well. It's easy to upgrade and downgrade. And it's good to make sure what kind of support is included in your hosting plan. That will probably be the biggest indicator of which one you'll want to go with, is which one has the best help, because you will need help as you have the life of your website. Bluehost, in my experience, has the best support included in the price of the hosting plan. Then we have step 4. So this is deciding what website pages you'll want included on the website. So you'll always want to keep it simple, and you don't want to add pages just to have more pages. Most websites shouldn't need any more than 5. However, that doesn't include the privacy policy or terms of service. You do want to have those as well. And you can get templates and things that are already created for you for the privacy and terms of service. And then you just add in your own name and everything like that if you can't get a lawyer at the time to do it. But there's templates that exist already. I would also recommend creating a lead magnet page where the only focus is to collect emails to go to your email list, or a sales page where the only focus is to sell one product or service. Now, this isn't a must to launch, but it's definitely something that you'll want eventually. If you're going to be selling products or services, you'll want to create these landing pages where people can really dive into what you're offering. And the only goal of that page is to convert, whether it's an email conversion or a sale conversion. So this is a little bit of what each page should have and what they are. So your home page is one of the most important pages on your website. It is the first impression your business makes to a potential client. It can be tempting to throw everything up on the homepage. However, it really should just be very clearly what you do and who you do it for. It's all about how you help the customer get to where they want to be. The homepage is just the first step to get your clients or customers in the next step of their customer journey. So that's why you don't want to throw everything up there, because it's just step 1. They have multiple steps depending on the type of business that you have. So below is a great template to writing the first sentence people see on your homepage. So within seconds of them landing on the page, they know what you do and who you do it for. So this is a great template that I use myself if I'm struggling to figure out what I'm doing and what the benefit is. I like to play around and use this template to do that. So you really will just want to do what makes you different for who your ideal client is, so they can, and then the benefit that you provide. So an example would be simple website templates for DIY entrepreneurs so that they can bring their dream business to life with zero tech stress. Very easy way to kind of get that done for you. And of course, you're going to definitely massage it and make it prettier and better as you go along, but it's a great place to start. Then we have the about pages. These are usually short and show why the company or yourself is in business and what makes you different. The about page usually includes biographies with pictures, your mission, vision, and values of the company or yourself. People like to do business with people. So this is where they get to meet the humans behind the brand. Your services page, or where you go into detail about your services and really sell it. This is the elevator pitch you have been practicing. It will belong on this page. You'll want to provide descriptions that are filled with specific benefits and hits their pain points. You'll also want to show why your services differ from competitors' offers, even if the reason is you. Then we have the contact page. This is another most important page on your website if you are a service provider. The contact page serves as a lead driver for a lot of businesses. You'll want to include a way for potential customers or customers to reach out, whether that is a calendar schedule, an appointment form, a contact form, or just an email address. It should be easy to reach you. That way, a potential client has questions that is preventing them from making a purchase decision, you can answer it immediately. And then you have your blog pages. So these should be used to rank on search engines like Google and Pinterest. You want to write content that your target audience is already thinking about to bring them to your website. A great way to determine that is by using the Google keyword planner and then the Pinterest ad section of Pinterest, of a Pinterest business account to see what people are already searching for. Then you can write blog articles about those topics. So instead of writing blog articles about things that you want to write about, you should really be writing articles that people are already searching for. That way, you'll be able to bring in traffic. You want to be answering the questions that they're already thinking. So also with content, you want to make sure that you get an email platform going. So regardless of your website purpose, you will always want to make sure you're using an email platform to start growing your email list. You don't want to delay on starting your list just because you need to find the perfect platform. They all collect, track, and send emails. It should be based on which one is the easiest for you to learn. I recommend MailChimp and still use it till this day. It makes it easy to integrate your website with the platform. And then here's just a screenshot of some things that MailChimp has. You can use tags to know where people are coming from. That way you can see which of your lead magnets are performing the best. It's a really cool platform. And then to grow your email list, it's a good idea to start brainstorming about what kind of freebies you could offer your ideal customer that would be beneficial. Your ideal customer would give you their email to access the freebie. So here's just a list of freebies that have done well. You have checklists, webinars, ebooks, quizzes, workbooks, and spreadsheets. And then here are just some examples of some freebies. And step 5, which is my favorite step, is the design process. So you want to keep it clean and simple. All pages should flow and be cohesive. The website pages should also be branded with your flair. Your website design is part of the first impressions that your customer or potential customer will get from you. It's always good to think about the customer journey you want the customer to take when creating your design. So again, the design is not for you necessarily, it is for your audience. So these are just some questions to keep in mind while you're designing your website. If you're doing it by yourself, if you're hiring out a designer, then we will be thinking of these questions for you. But if you're doing it alone, these are some great places to get started. So you'll want to think about who is your target audience and ideal customer? What is the customer journey you would like to create with your pages? Where do you want your customer to go next on the website? What call to actions will be included on each page? Where will the call to actions lead to? What is the result you want to achieve with the website design? Will the color and typography choices give the right feeling that you're looking for? And is this optimized for all browsers and screen sizes? Then we have color. So choosing the right colors for your website is so important. You want to make sure you choose colors that portray the tone and feeling that will attract your target audience. You want to shoot for about 3 to 5 colors in your palette. One for your primary color, like your headings, secondary color, like your paragraph text, and an accent color for your buttons. Then you'll want to make sure that you have 2 colors that are more neutral shades that you can choose from. These will be great for the background of your website or backgrounds of sections. And then you want to make sure that you have some contrast in your color palettes. So here are some color palettes examples, and you can see they kind of all follow that flow of a text color, a primary, you have an accent, maybe some background colors in them. And then here is a little color wheel that kind of shows some emotions or feelings that come off of different colors. So this is something you might want to check when you're choosing your colors. Do they evoke the feelings that you are looking for? So you have, within purple, comfort, passion, rebellion, sophistication, it can also be royalty. And for orange, you have happiness, fresh, and warmth. So it's always good just to double check. You can Google color psychology and you can get some pictures to kind of see what the feeling evokes for the colors that you are choosing. Then we have typography. So I would select no more than 3 font families to be used on the website. I really recommend just having 2, one for your heading and then one for your paragraph text. And less is always more when it comes to your font families. Make sure that the font is easily legible. This is the most important thing when it comes to font. You want to make sure that people can read it clearly. If not, you can have a very high bounce rate on your website, which means people will leave immediately. The next one is you want to make sure that you size the text appropriately. So what I like to do is decide on the sizing of the font for the entire website. So my button font will have a particular size and every button will have that size. Then my headings will all have one size, and they'll across the entire website, every heading will be the same size. And then for your paragraph text, they'll all be the same size. So that way it stays cohesive across your entire website. And it's easier to digest when everything is the same size as well. Then you want to avoid using all caps. Then we have imagery. So you want to make sure that the imagery on the website is cohesive and works together with the rest of the branding that you're creating. This way you keep the tone and feeling throughout the design. You can use presets to set a cohesive tone to all the imagery you take yourself. You can use Unsplash or Pixels for free imagery and search by collection, categories, or photographer. You can buy photo sets on Creative Market, and that way all of the photos will come from the same collection. And then you'll want to pay attention to the lighting in your photos, make sure that they all have the same tone, and then think about your color palette when choosing photos. Do you want, if your color palette includes blue, will you want some blue tones in your photos? And here's just some examples of some photography that give the same tone and feeling through them. So copy this can be either during the design process or after. You'll want to add in your copy or your content for each page. And these are just some really short tips. You'll want to include the benefits of your service. Be very clear and concise. Don't use any jargon within their writing. And you'll want to show the potential customer how your product or service will help them solve their current problem. Your copy should always be engaging, and you always want to have your target audience in mind. So for this 5-step framework, we had choose the purpose, choose your website hosting platform, choose choose your website platform, then choose hosting, choose the content, and start designing. And then if you want to dive deeper into the how to launch a website framework, you can grab your copy by using the link below. It's not too late to get the VIP pass at the discounted rate of $77. The price does go up on Sunday. And then you can also get the 15-page website planning template for free that you can take advantage of using the link here as well.
Awesome. And we have both of those links going to be under this video. So you guys will be able to find them, excuse me, easily. My voice needs to come back. That was some excellent info, Taylor. I mean, you were so thorough. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
One thing I want to ask you, because when someone's going, like, let's say someone decides they want to hire a designer and you go start looking, I mean, the ranges of pricing and all that kind of stuff is so wide. How do you recommend they make a decision?
So I think the first thing is to figure out what your budget is, because that will really help kind of dictate where you can go. Because as you said, there's designers that can charge $20,000 for a website. And then you have other designers that can charge $300 for a website. And they all have different processes. And that's usually what is included in that price, is how they go about the designing process, how much experience they have, the education that they have. That a lot of that goes into that pricing, and then also how fast they are. So I would really start with taking a look at what you can realistically afford for a designer. Then from there, I would take a look at their website and see, if you resonate with them. And then if they're offering the consultation calls, the free consultation calls, I'd get on a call with a designer and kind of see if they understand your vision. Are they just as excited about what you're doing that you are? Do they really understand what you're trying to bring to life? And you'll kind of feel that in your gut if you guys match up. And then also take a look at testimonials and look at work that they've already done. Ask them for recommendations and see the websites that exist. And that will really help you kind of determine which designer will be best for you.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I've got one question too, Taylor. So I know a lot of people get a little bit, you start talking about doing your own website and they get a little nervous and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm not a techie person. Like I couldn't possibly do a website. And I know we talked in the intro, how you create templates, to make it easier. So can you talk a little bit about that? Like, what level of tech do you have to have? Is it, let's try to bust that myth over. You got to be like some, total tech nerd in order to do this.
No, totally. I totally agree. I would say it has to be more of you having a willingness to learn. I think that is the biggest thing when it comes to websites, because there are a lot of things that are overwhelming. But if you actually want to learn how to do it, then with how hard it is, that barrier can be broken by an excellent teacher or an excellent training. So it's really, is this something that you want to learn how to do? And if it is, then it will become a lot easier for you. But if you have the mindset of, oh, this is so hard, this is so overwhelming, and it will probably be that way unless you have someone there who can help you and kind of guide you through the process. So there's kind of two different ways, right? If you're in that mindset of it's too overwhelming, then you might need a middle ground. Maybe you can't or don't want to have a full design, but maybe you need someone who will help you do your own website. And that does exist, or where you can get, a template and then maybe get some support hours from someone to kind of help you actually talk you through it one-on-one. And then if you're not overwhelmed or frustrated, then you can just get the template, and you'll want to make sure that whatever template you do go with comes with training, and excellent training, not just documentation. And you have to figure it out from documentation. You want to make sure that you can talk to somebody. Is there email support available? Do they include video tutorials for how to set it up? That would be what I'm looking for if I was feeling overwhelmed with tech, or I didn't know where to start with a template. It would be about support for sure.
Yeah, that's excellent. And I know you provide support, right? When people buy your templates, you do provide support. Gosh, I swear today my questions are like popping right out of my head the minute I think of them. So I can't think of what I was going to say, but when it comes back, I'll let you know. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Gosh. Okay. I think it's super important. Like me, I would advise people to learn how to do it because it's just a thing, right? Like if you think about when you had to learn how to drive your car, look at all the things you have to know to drive a car. There's all the buttons, the dashboard, the mirrors, the windows, the lanes, the laws. I mean, if you look at that, it's kind of at the same level, right? There's the same amount of different things, but I've been in some launches with people, like a group program or something. I can't remember what it was, but where people were really hindered because they didn't know how to do something simple on their website. So they had to wait for their designer or their VA who was out of the country or something like that. And that stalled their ability to move forward for like 2 weeks or however long the vacation was. And I mean, I've seen this happen multiple times, not just once. So to me, there's pros and cons of everything, but if you never learn how to do it, then you're always at the mercy of someone else's schedule.
Oh, 100%. Like even if you do end up paying, for a designer, I still recommend you learn your platform. Even if it's just a little bit, but you should want to learn how to swap out your images at least, or, adjust the copy on the website, because, as you stated, if you don't, it's going to be really expensive because we change our businesses, the copy, what we're offering changes every launch. You might be A and B testing. You might change the words a little bit on one side. And if you have to pay someone every single time to do that, it stacks. It's not just the initial design. It'll keep growing if you're not learning how to do the simple things on the website for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that part of it. Awesome. Deidre, do you have any other questions or thoughts for Taylor?
No, I think she covered it pretty well. I love I love how you went through, like this is like, website 101. So now everybody has, the whole entire framework. And, this is not just for new, just if you don't even have a website, like this also, applies. Like take this information and like run your own website through it. Do you have all these elements in place? Do you understand what all the elements are? Do you have too many pages? Do you have not enough? So, take this information and do an audit on your own website and see how can you improve. That's what our summit is about. It's about optimizing your business, right? And so all the experts here are here to help you take what you already have and make it, take it up to the next level. And for those who maybe you haven't put this element into your business yet, now you've got the groundwork and the basic information on how to do that. So, the main thing is, take action in what it is that you just learned here today. And of course, reach out to Taylor, put your questions and comments below. And she's also in our Facebook group. So if you're a member of the Empire of Unstoppable Women on Facebook, she's right in there. You can tag her anytime and ask any question that you have. And for those of you who maybe are here for the first time meeting us, we'd love to have you join us. It's a group for women over 40 who are growing their online businesses. So we welcome you to come in and join us. And then you get access to a lot of these speakers all the time. So if a question comes up a month from now, you've got them right there and you can tag them with it.
Yeah, and we actually have a question from Ashioma. She says, what do you think about building a website using Tilda?
I've never even heard of that.
I never heard of either. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. I'll have to look that up
Okay.
and figure out what that is, Tilda.
And that kind of brings up a question for me. So you mentioned, obviously you can't mention all the options that are out there, but
Yep.
WordPress and Squarespace, like you didn't bring up Wix. Is there you wouldn't recommend Wix, and why is that? And
I wouldn't recommend Wix just because there isn't a lot of options. So not Shopify. The only reason I don't recommend Shopify is because it's only like for e-commerce. So I don't really, that is why for that. But for Squarespace, they're developing it all the time. And they're really keeping up with new features and they're listening to their consumers. And even though they're a direct competitor to WordPress, I appreciate that. And I think that's so amazing. They weren't offering memberships. You weren't allowed to have memberships on Squarespace at one point, and they listened and they included that in their next update. So it's things like that why I really, really appreciate Squarespace, even though I'm like, you're still kind of limited. It's still great for some people. Wix, on the other hand, I haven't seen them grow much.
yeah.
With the features that they offer. They've been kind of stagnant. And so that's why I don't recommend them.
Yeah, that is such good information though. I mean, I appreciate that you're able to go, I'm a staunch WordPress person, but I can appreciate the fact that this company listens to their people and they include those updates and they take into consideration what people want. That's a great way to recommend things. So that's awesome. So that's the only question we have currently. Did you have another one, Deidre?
Yeah, so I have another one. Because I started out on WordPress, like way back in the day, a long time ago with Bluehost and WordPress. So I love it. And I know all the benefits. And then there was a point in time where I did from another company I started, and I did use Wix simply because it was like a one pager thing. Like I didn't need a whole bunch of stuff. I just needed one page up, and that was it. So I think one of the things to like Taylor was talking about is you really have to determine like what is the purpose of your website, and don't be short-sighted. Like where is this going to go 3 years from now? If you're going to put in money and time into something, sometimes we make decisions that look good for right now, but you really have to kind of, we don't know everything that's going to happen in 3 years, but sometimes we have a pretty good idea. Like we know what our goals are, and if your goal is to, to grow and change and, make it more robust, at least give yourself the option to do that rather than putting it somewhere and then you just have to start from scratch if you change your mind. So I think that's another important consideration. What do you think about that, Taylor?
No, I think that's excellent. And when you're choosing your website platform, you definitely, as you said, don't want to think about where your business is today, because it's going to change. And, within 3 to 5 years, your product offering or service offering might grow and might get a little bit more complicated, where you add a course into what you're offering, or maybe you start adding in products to what you're doing, or maybe you start adding in services if you're already doing products. So your business could always grow and change. And so you really want to keep in mind, can your platform change with you? And I think that's the big reason as to why I always choose WordPress, is because no matter what interesting or weird idea I get in my head, it can keep up with me. To where some other platforms, I'm not quite sure they're there yet. They're heading in the direction, but they're not quite there yet.
Yeah, such good information. Well, I think, we're going to wrap it up. I thank you so much. Like, you have given us such a thorough indoctrination into how to create a website that works. And then if anyone wants to take the next step with Taylor, you've got 2 great options: through the VIP pass at the great price of $77. I mean, Taylor's offer that goes into that VIP pass is a $597 offer. So right there, it's a no-brainer, right? Then otherwise, she's also got the free offer. So those links are underneath this video. As soon as the live is done, you will see those. And they're also inside the VIP portal. For those of you who already have the VIP pass, you already have access to Taylor's program. And then everyone else, get it while it's hot. That's what I have to say. Thank you so much, Taylor.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.